everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a vlog of an event that I have been waiting for ever since it was first announced in like February of this year, if not sometime around then. And that is none other than a local book con event called Magic and Meet Cutes. Like I said, Magic and Meet Cutes is a local book event to Raleigh, North Carolina, and it is being hosted by the bookstore Brightside Books and Wine. The event itself is going to be hosting over 25 authors where they will get an opportunity to sign people's books, and there will also be several different panels where a bunch of the authors or a group of authors will sit down and chat about different aspects of their books, whether it be world building or tropes or spice and that kind of thing. This honestly might be my most like highly anticipated event or activity, if you will, of this year, at least so far, because every time I think about it, I genuinely get so giddy and excited, and I just think I'm going to have a great time. Today, the day that I'm starting this vlog, is actually the day before Magic and Meet Cutes fully starts, and I'm starting it today not only so I can explain it to you, what it is, what it will consist of, that kind of thing, but also because today there is going to be an early registration from 5 to 7 p.m., if I remember correctly, at Brightside Books and Wine, the bookstore. And I and my friend Rachel, who's going with me, are going to go ahead and do the early registration. From what I'm kind of picking up and understanding via the Instagram of both the bookstore and this event, there is going to be a sort of goodie bag that we get when we officially sign in. And I am very excited for that. I love free things. I think it's going to be so much fun. Oh my God. Along with a long list of authors, there are also going to be a couple of content creators and some local vendors. Actually, I don't know for sure if they're local necessarily, but vendors nonetheless. And I am just so wildly excited for this entire thing. So now I'm actually going to go into a little bit of detail about what the schedule will look like for the actual event tomorrow, so that I'm not explaining things as I go and it's not confusing or I'm not accidentally leaving stuff out, that kind of thing. So since we will be doing early registration tonight, we will not be going to registration, which I believe would start at 8 o'clock, but the first panels of the day will open their doors at 9:30, I believe. And personally, I like to arrive to places early as opposed to on time or like just a little bit early. So ideally we'd get there at 9:30. I'm not exactly sure if that's what will be happening. And then that first panel will start at 10 a.m. and then will last probably about an hour, maybe a little less than that. And then the second group of panels will start at 11:15. And then after that, there will be an hour-long lunch period where everyone can go get food from whatever restaurant that they'd like. And then at 1 o'clock, the vendor village and author signings will begin. So there are going to be two separate groups where group one goes to the author signings first and then goes to the vendor village is what they're calling it for the second block of time. And then group two will go to the vendor village first, and then for the second block of time, we'll go to the author signings. And me and Rachel personally are going to be in group two. So we will be at the vendor village for, I think, anywhere from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, which is, I'd say, a pretty good amount of time to be shopping around and that kind of thing. And then from about 3:30 to, I believe, 6 o'clock is when group two will be getting an opportunity to get books signed by authors. From what I'm understanding, most authors will actually be selling their books through the bookstore, Brightside Books and Wine, though there are a couple that will be selling books like at their tables, and whether it be because they just prefer doing it that way or because they don't have like official publishers. I'm not entirely sure, but it will kind of vary, I think, between each author. But if the authors aren't selling their books at their tables, they will be giving out like art and stickers, maybe some pins, that kind of stuff as well. I'm sure there are like a couple of things that I'm leaving out, but I guess as I remember them or as they happen, I will just kind of keep you updated. But I think most of this vlog is going to consist of just wandering around at a really cool book event, buying things, showing them off, maybe doing a bit of a haul when it's all said and done. But yeah, I am so excited. Again, I have been anticipating this for weeks now, and the fact that it is literally tomorrow, I could like literally scream. I'm so happy. But yeah, I think in about 20 minutes, Rachel is going to be here to pick me up, and we will be heading to Brightside to get early registration, to grab any goodie bags that they're giving out, that kind of thing. And don't worry, I will make sure to show you everything that comes in those goodie bags. But since tomorrow is probably going to be a bit of an early morning for me, I am going to try to get as much sleep as possible. And if that means going to bed at like 9 p.m. when I normally go to bed at like midnight, if not later, then that is what it is. But I want to make sure I am fully rested and fully prepared to be wide awake and engaged tomorrow. I will update you once we are either on the way to Brightside or once we are there and we can show you what we got in our goodie bags. All right, so it is now a couple hours later and I am back home after doing early registration, and it was really fun. It was super busy at the bookstore. There were probably like easily 50 people, if not more, there doing early registration, and most people, like, once they were done, were just kind of wandering around, talking with other people. There were a couple authors there that I recognized. I didn't actually talk to any of them because I was too shy, but I recognized a couple, which was really cool. And when we registered, we got our little bags that came with our tickets, and this is what mine looks like. This is the one that they had for general admission, which is what me and Rachel got. There was an option for like, oh God, what's it called? VIP. And those bags looked like a little bit higher quality and they were pink, which admittedly, I'm really jealous, but it's okay. I love a tote bag nonetheless. So I'm pretty sure I'm also going to be using this bag tomorrow just cause like duh. Yeah, there were also some things that I got that were in the bag, and I haven't actually looked through all of it. I've looked at some of it, but not all of it. So let's do that. I know that there's a book in here and it's Shatter Me, which, believe it or not, I actually haven't read this book or this series. So maybe I'm gonna have to start that. And it looks like it also came with some art from books. I don't know if either of these are going to be books that like are from authors for the event tomorrow. This is also some art in order to incentivize you to pre-order. There's also this really cute bookmark. OMG. Okay, wait. Oh, that's so cute. Let's stay inside and read books. That's so me core. Like, that's actually so me core. That's crazy. Ooh, and a sticker as well that very much matches the vibes of this event. I'm very excited. That's so cute. What else is in here? Ooh, another bookmark thing for Brightside. Ooh, there's some cards and stickers. I'm not really sure what these are. Are these supposed to be like signature plates that we can like ask certain authors to sign? That would be cool. Oh my God. And then there's also some stickers. Flirting? Nah, I just read smut. Right. Spread those pages. Right. And then book lover. Those are so funny. I love that. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, magnetic bookmark with the little thing on it. Oh my God. I love a magnetic bookmark more than anything in the world. Like, genuinely, I think they are the best creation since sliced bread. Like, I am so serious. Ooh, it's like nice and heavy duty too. Hello. Hello. And then the last thing that's in here is a lanyard, which I can clip this little card to. Oh my gosh, that's so precious. And I think this little sticker right here either implies like what group I'm in or if I'm VIP or not. I'm pretty sure it's what group I'm in. And like I said earlier, I'm in group 2. So very exciting. And yeah, that is everything in the tote bag. That is so cool. And now I wanted to go over some of the books that I already own that I'm going to be bringing to Magic and Meet Cutes. I have bought quite a few in preparation for this event so that I'm not spending a bunch of money all at one time, if that makes sense. Like, I'm spending a bunch of money still because I'm buying the amount of books I'm buying, but it's like spread out over multiple weeks. So it doesn't feel as financially irresponsible. Anyway, I think I'm actually going to start with 2 books that I already have signed. So I'm not going to be bringing them to the event to get signed, but I wanted to kind of show them off since they will be at this event. And if I get the opportunity to talk to them again, I would really love to. First, I have Of Blood and Aether by Harper Hawthorne. And is signed right there. This is a really thick book, at least compared to like what I'm used to reading. So I have had it for a while, but it has admittedly been a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidating to start. So unfortunately, I did not get around to reading this one before the event, but I do have it. And then we have Bloody Black by Rhiannon Hargadon. I'm really bad at names. I'm so sorry. Oh God. I actually got this one a couple of weeks ago at a book fair because she was there. And at the time, I didn't even know that she was going to be at this book con. So I was like, oh yeah, that looks like a really cool book. I would totally love to buy it. And I do believe, yep, it's signed. You can like barely see it, but it's right on the art right there. And yeah, she's gonna be at this event, which is so cool. And now we move on to the books that I am going to be bringing tomorrow because they have not been signed yet, but I want them to be. I have 5 total books that I'm gonna be bringing tomorrow, and I have read 2 of them, am in the middle of reading one of them, and have not read the other 2. So let's start with those ones I haven't read. First of which is The Song of Sunrise by Monica J. Deloy. This was actually on my list for my TBR this month, so I am hoping to get around to reading it eventually, but I just wasn't able to do it before this book con, so soon. And then a book that I actually bought today while we were at Brightside doing the early registration is Heir of Illusion by Madeline Taylor. This book has also been on my radar ever since it was announced that Madeline would be an author at this event. I was just very interested by the little blurb on the back, so I'm very excited to get this signed. Next, the 2 books that I did read are Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempf-Foltz. I'm really bad with authors' names. I'm so sorry. If I remember correctly, I gave this book 3.75 stars on Fable. I really enjoyed it. And I think that this author also has another book that was recently announced or is coming out later this year, which is really exciting. We also have Light Guard by Haley Turner. This book, I rated 5 out of 5 stars on Fable because it is so good. And I am really excited to meet Haley tomorrow and get this book signed because it was so good and spoke to me on such a like personal level. Like, I am so deeply obsessed with this book. I cannot wait to meet her. And then the book that I am currently reading is none other than Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Powell Fox. When I say I'm in the middle of reading this book, I do not actually mean the middle. Like, I'm at the very, very beginning of this book, but I'm really loving it so far. It has a couple of like very classic fantasy tropes, at least from what I've seen online, but they're reversed. Which, if you know me, you know that I love a reversed trope. I am also very excited for the next books in the trilogy because if I remember correctly, they're both coming out within the span of like a couple of months at the end of this year. So I won't have to wait too long to finish this story, which is great. I say that as if I'm not like only 30 pages in to this book. I'm thinking I'm actually going to bring 2 separate bags, like one to carry around all the books, and then I'm just gonna leave it in the car for most of the day, because there's no way that I'm lugging around 5 books all day, plus anything that I buy tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. So I will make sure to bring a second bag and just leave them in the car and then get them right before the signing, so I'm not lugging them around. I already have my outfit planned out for tomorrow and I'm really liking it. So that's super exciting. Oh my god. Also, this is completely unrelated to books, but me and Rachel listened to Olivia's new album on the way to and from Brightside, and it was so sick and twisted. Like, it was so good. It was so great. Do not get me wrong. Like, it was absolutely incredible. Olivia is like such an amazing songwriter. But some of those songs were like deeply hurtful. Like, that was a painful listen, truly. Like, there are some songs that were on, specifically like the second half of that album, that I don't think I'll ever be able to listen to twice. Like, that was a lot for me personally. But that's feeling like all that I really have to update you on right now. So I guess I will see you tomorrow morning. All right, so it is now officially the day of Magic and Meet Cutes, and I am all ready to go. I think Rachel will be here like basically any minute now, and then we will head out basically straight away. But this is my outfit for the day. I thrifted this little pink vintage slip dress actually from a vintage market that I went to recently. And since the Magic and Meet Cutes, like all of the promotion for it has been kind of a pinky purpley hue to it, I thought it would kind of tie in very nicely. And then I'm wearing this shirt that is cream, and it's actually Taylor Swift merch. Up here it says, "Long live the walls we crashed through, how the kingdom lights shine just for me and you." Sorry, I kind of forget sometimes what it says, but it's just like a castle with dragons on it, which for a romantasy book event I felt was just very fitting. And also it's like very subtle Taylor Swift merch, but if you know, you know. So I feel like that could be a fun conversation starter. I have my hair up with this cute little clip that is supposed to look like a bow. I'm not sure how well you can see it. I hope you can. But I'm also wearing just these little gold hoop earrings and another piece of Taylor Swift merch, which is this bracelet, which the gems resemble a bunch of the albums that she has out. Oh, I'm wearing black Converse with stitched flowers onto them. I thought it tied in nicely with like the black of the ribbon claw clip and the black in my t-shirt. And then my bag of the day is the little tote bag that I got last night, and I'm wearing the lanyard to get into places. So yeah, that is basically the whole outfit. And then I'm also, like I said, bringing a separate bag to carry around books for. And it is actually a book bag that I got from the last event that I went to with Brightside Books and Wines back in like February. I also did a vlog of that, so if you want to go check that out, you definitely should. But like I said last night, I'll probably be leaving this bag in the car for a majority of the day. But yeah, I am really excited for the day. I think it is going to be so much fun. I'm also going to be bringing a water bottle and probably some snacks, because they sent out a message a couple days ago, I think, saying that they will be allowing water bottles and snacks in all of the venues. So I'm gonna take full advantage of that. Yeah, I am literally so excited for today. I think it's gonna be so much fun. I think it's gonna be a blast. I guess I will see you once me and Rachel have actually made it to the first event of the day. Okay, so we have made it to the first panel. Super loud because there's a bunch of people in here, but the first one is called It's Getting Hot in Here, and it is about spice as empowerment. Super exciting. I forget what all authors are going to be here and who exactly is hosting the panel, but I will make sure to put a picture of that somewhere on the screen so you can know who all is going to be here. I think it's going to be anywhere from like half an hour to an hour, but I am very excited. It's been a great day so far, and we've been here for like 5 minutes. So yeah, I guess I'll update you after this panel. All right, so we are now done with the second panel. I did not get a clip of me and Rachel at that panel, like talking about being there, because it was just significantly quieter than the first panel we were at. So I felt like more uncomfortable pulling out my camera and talking to my phone. So I didn't, but that panel, both of the panels were absolutely amazing. The first one was like really funny. Like, it was so fun to listen to the authors talk about spice and like how they incorporate it and why they incorporate it. I thought that was really fun and cool. And then for the second panel, it was called Romance as Resistance. And again, I do not remember all of the authors and the panel coordinator, if you will, off the top of my head, but I will make sure to put a picture of who all was on that panel as well. That panel was so good. I think that it was a great conversation about romance as a genre and just how people interpret it so differently depending on how they view it. But yeah, I think I'll talk a little bit more in depth about my thoughts on those panels later once I get home. But we are now at a place called Morgan Street Food Hall, and we got sushi. We're just waiting for it to be made right now, and then we're gonna eat, and then our tickets are the ones where we will get to visit the vendors first. So we will do some shopping, we will do some probably damage to our credit cards, and then we will go a couple hours later to the author signings, which is gonna be so much fun because just hearing all of the authors today talking about their books like so enthusiastically, and it just made me want to read all of them. Which, is that possible? Maybe. I don't know. Am I going to end up buying a lot more books than I think I was originally intending to? Yes, 100% yes. But yeah, that's really the update for now. I guess the next time you'll probably see us is when we have finished shopping, because I feel like I'll want to give you guys a little bit of a haul. So yeah, I'll see you in just a bit. All right, so now after an 8-hour day, kind of closer to 7, honestly, I am back home after going to all the panels, doing the author signings, going to the vendor village, and I am not exaggerating when I say that this might be the like best day of my year. Like, truthfully, today was so much fun and I had such a great time and everything was so perfect and amazing. Like, I don't even have the words. I absolutely want to talk about the author signings and who all I talked to and who I got photos with and whose books I got signed. But first, I want to talk about the panels that I went to earlier in the day, because I fear that if I don't talk about them first, then I'm gonna forget to circle back. So let's just start there. So like I said earlier in the video, the first panel of the day was Spice as Empowerment. Each of the authors talked about whether or not they ever considered not having smut in their books, or if it was always just kind of something that they knew they would have in their books. They also talked about how including spice in their books is in a way almost like giving autonomy to these characters and to the readers who are experiencing the stories in a way that some people have not experienced before or have only experienced later in life. And I think that was really interesting thing to talk about and was super important. They also talked about how they like feel when people see that their books have smut in them and then just write it off as like fairy smut or like only spice scenes or that kind of thing, and how it can obviously be very irritating, but like it's rooted in misogyny, and that's like the most basic way to put it, and that the best way to fight back against it, if you will, is quite frankly just to ignore it and to continue to reach the audience that you know will enjoy it and will understand it and will see it for the plot and not just the smut, and see how important that is. Also, at the very beginning of this panel, the authors were all introducing themselves, and a question that they were asked to kind of give us more information about them was like what kind of stuff they read, not just like what they write. And there was one author who is the author of a book called Heir of Illusion, who said she reads Criminal Minds fan fiction. And when I'm telling you, I shrieked. Like I yelled and hollered, and like it was so serious to me. So when I like saw her later in the day, got my book signed, I told her about it, and she literally wrote me like a recommendation for this fan fiction that she really loves. And I was like, you get me. I respect you so much right now. And then the second panel of the day was titled Romance as Resistance. This panel focused a lot on the fact that like romance as a genre, or romantasy as a like subgenre, is seen as like lesser than, or like not taken as seriously, despite the fact that it is like the best selling genre there is in like the marketplace. It's just not taken seriously. People will look down on it. People will think that it's only sex scenes and that it's not serious and that it's not like a real book. And like that was really the driving point of this panel. They also briefly covered the concept of like female rage and why some of the authors on the panel thought it was really important to include that in their books. And it boiled down to just in our society and our culture, feeling like women have to be these quiet, docile creatures that are just there to look pretty and make babies and serve, basically. But realistically, women are so much more than that. And sometimes it gets to a point in a woman's life where she is so sick and tired of being forced into this little box that she does not belong in, and she just completely rages out, and how that is seen as like this horrible thing in the eyes of society, how a loud woman is a bad woman and how an angry woman is a bad woman. But the truth of the matter is that like these women just are experiencing emotions and want to be like seen as human and not this subhuman species. And it was just such an incredible panel, honestly. And so once that panel was wrapped up, like I said earlier in the vlog, me and Rachel went to a like local food strip, if you will. Like there were a bunch of smaller restaurants inside this one building. It was really nice. We got sushi. And then we went to the vendor village where I did end up getting some stuff. So this is the fun part of the video where I give you a haul of everything that I got from this event. And trust me when I say it's a lot. So I actually only ended up getting a couple things at the vendor village itself. I got a shirt from a company called Nerd Girl Co. That's the little business card, bookmark that came with purchase. And it is actually merch for the book A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. It's supposed to like resemble the beautiful stained glass in the books that we see. And at the very bottom, it says, "Rise from your ashes, do not crumble alongside them." And I love this book so much, first of all. Absolutely obsessed with it. I need the next book today, like right now. I'm so serious. On my desk yesterday, but that's beside the point. So I knew that I was going to be looking out for this specifically, and I am just so excited that I got my hands on something from this collection. Then I got a couple of pins from a company called Snarky Co. And the first one is also a Dance of Lies merch. It's a little pin that at the bottom says "You are art." And again, it's supposed to resemble the stained glass windows that we see in the first book. And then I also got one that was exclusive to this event. It says "Magic and Meet Cutes," and I just think it is so precious. All right, now to the good stuff, the books that I got and got signed. First, actually, I want to start with a signing that I got, but I didn't get the book of. And that might sound ridiculous, but it's because I got book plates for it. So when I do purchase it later, I can put this into the book. And that book is this monster of mine. These are the book plates. There was one or a couple that came with the bags, the goodie bags, and then this one the author was actually giving out herself, which was so awesome. And I'll make sure to put a cover photo of the book on the screen right now so you guys know what book I'm talking about and so you can see the author's name as well. And now to dive into the books, I'm going to start with the books that I already had going into this event. I got Violet Thistleway is Not a Villain Anymore, signed in purple Sharpie, and it's personalized, which is so awesome. And I was able to get a print of the city that they live in, which is supposed to be like a postcard. I love it. And a little sticker of a couple of the cute little sidekicks from this book. Next is The Song of Sunrise by Monica J. Deloy. I got it signed and personalized, and I actually got, according to the author, the last free print that she was giving out with this book. Next up was Light Guard, signed and personalized, and I also got some art and a little bookmark as well for the characters of this book, and a little pin that says "I Heart Lady Knights," because there is a lady knight in this book. So, obviously. Next up was Smoke and Scar by Gretchen Powell Fox, and I believe the signature, yes, is right here. And again, got it personalized, and it came with a little bookmark that has the entire trilogy on it with a little QR code at the bottom and some very cute fan art, or not fan art, just art on the back. And the last book that I brought to this signing without having purchased it before today was none other than Heir of Illusion. Here is the signing and personalization and art from this one too, because we love free art. Now for the books that I bought and got signed today. I got this book at the vendor village because both at the author signing and the vendor village, the bookstore Brightside had a little setup of a mini bookstore where you could get a couple of the author's books there. And I got Her Soul for a Crown, signed and personalized, of course, and also came with free art. And tell me that does not look so good. Tell me that doesn't look absolutely amazing. You're lying. You'd be lying if you said that. And the last book that I bought today was The Unnamed by M.S. Masood. Again, signed and personalized, which is genuinely just absolutely so cool. And with the purchase of her book, you were given a bookmark with your name personalized in, I believe, Arabic? And so at the end of the day, I ended up walking out of this event with a total of 7 books, all signed. So I genuinely do not think I'm exaggerating at all when I say, again, that this might be the best day of my entire year. Everyone was so nice and so sweet, and it was so cool to get to hear all the authors talk about their books in specific ways, whether it be about spice or romance as resistance, and just to get to talk to them even when I was at the tables with them, to hear them be so passionate about these worlds that they've created, about new books that they have that are coming out soon, or just like the love of the book community. You could really feel it in the building. I genuinely don't think I can say enough how absolutely amazing this event was, and it was 100% to do obviously with the authors, but specifically with Brightside for having everything be just absolutely perfect. It was so well set up, so well organized. All of the people that were helping out were so incredibly nice and cool, and it was just an absolutely amazing experience. But that being said, I am very tired after spending 8 hours out and about and talking and walking and standing and that kind of thing. So I am going to go ahead and end this video here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!